What's going on, guys? It's Wednesday night again, and it's time for Squadron Live. I appreciate you all being here. I was having a little fun there with the new intro music. I can't get enough of this new Kirov airship from Border Models, and just takes me back to the days when I was a kid playing the Red Alert video games or computer games, I guess they were. I I'm kind of excited about this kit. It's just a cool kit. I haven't had much time to do anything with it yet, except get the main part of the kit out and get the two halves together. But it's cool. I'm looking forward to it. One of these days, I'll get it painted and it'll look something like that. But anyway, until then, we'll just stick this over to the side, I guess. So, how are y'all doing tonight? We have been having a good week at Squadron, and I hope you have been having a good week as well. Got a lot going on at the shop, as always. I know I probably sound like a broken record every Wednesday night, but the I've got a couple of updates real quick. I want to jump into the show and tell as quick as we can because you guys covered me up with some pictures this week, which is great. But we've got a lot to look at, so I want to make sure and have enough time to check that out. So I'll say hello to a few people here real quick. Joseph, good to see you tonight. And the show that never ends. Well, I hope not. I hope it never ends. I always have a good time on Wednesday nights with you guys. Lawn Care Novice is here. Good to see you. Your favorite time of the week? Mine too, buddy. Mine too. Randy, working on another book. Hard at it all the time. Good to see you. Let's see. And Frank, our good friend from Australia, he's got some models for us to check out this evening. And yes, Frank, we are on daylight savings time now here in Georgia. It is currently 9 o'clock for us. So good morning to you, I guess I should say. Hope you have a good day over there. Danny, good to see you tonight, buddy. And Carlos is with us. Carlos says that's a beautiful Spitfire in the thumbnail. That is a beautiful Spitfire, and that's part of our show and tell later on tonight. So we'll take a closer look at that kit. Good to see you tonight, Derek. And Rex is with us tonight. And Bill says he did not get enough bench time this week, buddy. You and me both. I don't think I did much of anything on the model bench other than pop those two halves of the blimp ship together. So, but that's just how it goes, right? Maybe we'll get some more time this coming week. Good to see you tonight too, Ken, and also Ken Clark and Ken Buffington. Good to see you guys tonight. And Tom's with us tonight from the villages of the White Sands, and he is asking about an update on the warehouse. Well, it just so happens that is one of the things I was going to share with you guys tonight. So, let me show that to you here in just a second. I got a little checklist here of a couple things I wanted to make sure and mention. So I'll mention this, and then we'll move on. The Murfreesboro show coming up this weekend. I am unfortunately not going to make it. I've had a lot of people asking if I was going to be there, considering it's only an hour up the road now from me, an hour and a half. But unfortunately, I had prior obligations this weekend that are going to prevent me from being there. So you guys go, have a great time, and you can tell me all about it next Wednesday about how much fun I missed. I hate that I'm missing it, but perhaps next year I will be able to be there. So that is one of the things that I wanted to mention. The other thing is our Black Friday countdown, our final countdown deals that have been going on Wednesday nights. They have been taken over, so to speak, for the month of November by what we have renamed that category on our website to the Black Friday countdown. And the Black Friday countdown is just like what you can imagine it is. It's basically the final countdown deals that we do, but we're just adding a few, whatever, half a dozen, whatever works out to that section every day or two. We'll have another round of items going into that section tomorrow sometime. So keep an eye on that page. You never know what's going to be in there, what's going to be on sale. You might find something that you just can't do without. And we're going to keep that up until actual Black Friday. We'll keep adding things, and the Black Friday, that everything will be in there at that point that we are intending on adding. So check into that. And then next Wednesday night, we have, I'm going to try to get back to our at least once a month special guest on the show. The last time we had a couple of guests, we had Jeff V, we had Lee Leibold, and next week we are going to have Chris Decker, who used to own Trident Hobbies way back in the day. And Trident Hobbies is actually the company that we bought from Chris. That we bought that and basically turned that into what became Free Time Hobbies. Chris Decker also owned and operated Midship Models and Yankee Model Works, resin ship model companies. So next week we're going to have Chris on here with us, and we're going to talk about the history of those companies. How did the companies that through the years became what is now Squadron, how did those companies start? And it's going to be kind of interesting because there's a lot of history of the resin ship model world mixed into all these different companies through the years. So it'll be a fun time to see what he's got going on these days and catch up a little bit on the past businesses. So that's what we've got coming next Wednesday night. So make sure to check that out. Now, going back to Tom's question on the warehouse. So last week I talked again about us building shelves out of 2x4s and wood. And I talk about this all the time, but it occurred to me that perhaps you guys would like to see what in the heck I'm talking about. It's not the prettiest thing, but the way I see it is once you paint wooden shelves with model kits, looks pretty fantastic. So here is a little clip I took today before I left. And this, like I say, the warehouse, we are moved, we are here, but it has been an ongoing project to get this place set up because we're not just shutting down to get set up. We're still operating. And even though it's kind of a struggle sometimes operating in the mess, we get a little bit of time each day to work on the mess. Good quote from somebody blast from the past. He said one time to us that it's hard to put out the fire it's hard to fix the fire extinguisher when you're always putting out the fire. And that's what it seems like we're always doing around here sometimes. But anyway, this is what we've got going on at the moment. So these are the wood shelves I was talking about that we build. They're big, they hold a lot of stuff, and like I said, wood is a lot cheaper than those big metal shelves. So this works out for us, and we get to load them up with stuff. We just finished these last few rows, and now from this end, this is kind of what each shelf will look like when we get done. Just tons and tons of models on each one. So that's where we're at right now with the warehouse. It's close. We are on track to be ready for our store to be open in January, as we have started recently advertising that's when we're going to be ready for customers to come see our retail store. And then, of course, you guys that are the Eagle Club members will have full access to that warehouse I just showed. So we hope to have it ready by January. That's the goal, and I think we're going to make it. So we will see. I am going to go ahead and say hello to everybody else without pulling each of you up on the screen, because we got a lot of good stuff to look at tonight. So let's go ahead and jump on over here to the show and tell. Excuse me, my mute button's not working tonight. All right, so this first one, this is great. Now, the guy that sent me this first one, I am not mentioning his name because this is not his model. Now, I'm giving full credit to the owner of the model, and I've even got the information sheet that the gentleman that took the picture at the model show. So The builder of the model gets full credit, but the guy that sent me the picture is not the builder. So one of our running jokes on this show, as we all know now, whether it's the fact that you can't go wrong with a Tamiya kit, or we all need some Buc-ee's hot sauce. This guy named Joe Demansky at the Acme show a couple of weeks ago put this 1952 Ford F1 Buc-ee's store display pickup truck in the contest. And I just thought this would be a fantastic way to start the show off tonight. And he did an excellent job on it too. He kind of made a representation of the Calhoun Buc-ee's location, and 3D printed a bunch of the parts, 3D printed the little beaver plush dolls in the back of it, custom decals, lots of scratch built parts. And when the guy sent me this picture, I said, yeah, we got to include this. So there you go. So a Buc-ee's model kit. I love it. It's super cool. So good job, Joe. If you're watching this by chance, shoot me an email sometime or give me a call. I'd love to pick your brain about this kit, because that is super cool. All right, moving on down the line tonight, we've got Tim Jones. And this is a 35th scale diorama depicting an actual firefight, he says. This was Afghanistan 2002, Army Special Forces. And he says this is as close of a depiction of the actual events as he could get. So we've got a couple of different views of this diorama that he did. Did an excellent job on this. And up next, he has done a 350th scale USS Atlanta. Now, he says that this is his first ship model. And in my opinion, this is pretty impressive to be your first ship model. So you did a great job, Tim. And he also said at the end of his email, he would welcome any constructive criticism, because he enjoyed it and he wants to do better on his next ship. So let's take a peek at a few of these kits, or a few of these pictures of his kit rather. And if you notice here, this is the deluxe kit, Verifire's deluxe kit. So it had all the bells and whistles on it. All right, so what do you think for his first ship model? It's pretty good, right? I think he did a great job. I think he did a great job whether it was his first one or not. But considering it was his first one, it's pretty impressive to me. All right, so next we've got Danny Haney. He's got a couple of kits here to show off. His first one is going to be a Lindbergh bobtail cruiser. And I have somehow or another cut off half of it, and I apologize about that, Danny. We'll have to put this one in next month's show, but at least we see half of it. He has also done some 1200 scale. These ships are tiny. If you've ever done any 1200 scale ships, they are so small. But if you've got the fingers and the eyes to do them, they can turn out really nice, and Danny's certainly turned out very nice. I do not know what this is. Well, I hope my slideshows aren't messing up tonight. Danny, I'm sorry. It looks like I've messed up your LST as well. I hope that this is not going to keep happening in a lot of my slides tonight, guys. If it is, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board. I thought that we were on the right path using these PowerPoint things, but well, that's fine. We got another one from Danny to look at, so all is not lost. This is a 450th scale Shinano IJN aircraft carrier. And Danny says he's still working on weathering, and on this particular build, he forgot to paint the waterline. But that's not a problem because it still looks great. Let's check this thing out. Got a nice rig or jig there for your ships to sit in. That's nice, helpful. Don't see too many of the 450th scale ships anymore, so this is nice to see. All right, one more of this Shinano. Very good. Nice job on the little planes there too, buddy. All right, and up next is something that I think is kind of cool. This is Jason Davis. He built one of the 72 scale Hanabu flying saucer kits that Squadron models produced. And this particular version is the civilian version. So if you can imagine going and taking a commercial flight on one of these babies, you'd get to wherever you were going fast for sure. So there's his version of this, his representation of what that would have possibly looked like had they been down at the local airport. Very nice job on that. All right, and up next we've got James Robinette. This is not a kit that he built, but as he's written here in the text, he says he's recently acquired this model that's been long out of production and thought that some of you guys might enjoy seeing a blast to the past. So up in the top right there, that's the front of his box, and the other pictures are just pictures of the instructions and inside the box and whatnot. So he says this will surely bring back happy memories of the golden days of modeling. So pretty cool, James. Thanks for sharing that. And James has also got his latest model kit finished that he sent us, and this is X Plus, their 1/8 scale figure series, and this is the latest release of Vampirilla, the one that includes the Bat Shadows base, as they're calling it. And there's the 3 views of that. This particular kit has been released 3 times by X Plus, originally with a different base that had a graveyard behind her. Second, in a glowing plastic version, and now this. So you did a great job on that kit, buddy, and I appreciate you sharing those. All right, and David, not a model kit, but the Sunny 2 posters that we've been sending out to you guys who bought the Bloody 100th kit from us, from Edward. David liked his so much that he went ahead and put it in a very nice frame. He's got that hung up in his model room somewhere, I'm sure. It's a great job getting that frame, David. It looks nice. Glad you like that thing. And it would not be a submission without at least sending one model kit in too, and this time he has sent us the 48 scale B-26B, one of the most popular items, at least from ICM models this year. This has been a great kit. Lots of people very excited about it, and looks like David has done a fantastic job finishing his. So we got a few slides here of that to see. Two versions of this have been released so far by ICM, and a third is on its way later this month, the third being Flakbait. You've done a great job on this kit for sure. Love the paint job on that. One final look at it real quick here before we move on to the next slide. Excellent job on that. As you guys know, I have to split these PowerPoints up into multiple files, I guess. So I'm pulling up the second one here. And you guys did a great job on those. All right, so this is pretty cool. This Mitch Merrick did this, and he was actually looking for, he emailed me looking to see when we were going to have our Birds of War figures back in stock. And those are the nose art pinup girl inspired figure kits. And he specifically wants a copy of Lady Lil to display with his Lady Lil build. So I asked him, I said, hey, you got to send me a picture of your plane. I'd love to see it. And he did. And it is not what I was expecting. So check this out. This is this is pretty cool. This is HK Models B25. And he's done it up as Lady Lil B25J. And just the way he's done this in the shadow box is just very, very interesting and unique to me. So, and he wants the little figure to, I guess, display maybe down on the bottom of the case or something. I don't know, but it's going to be pretty cool. So, got a couple more pictures of it here. And this next slide, hopefully it works. It's supposed to be a little video of it. Of course, it's not going to work. Well, I apologize. So the video is just like 3 or 4 seconds long. All the lights flicker, and he up in the top right, he's got a red light that flickers. It's very cool. So if you can imagine, the lights are on a, some sort of a system that makes them blink and all that kind of stuff. So it's very, very neat. And again, just unique, interesting. So thank you for sharing that, buddy. Now, one of our chat ladies here, Lady Knievel, Kathleen Morrill, she has sent a couple of kits for us to check out this evening, starting with her 48 scale Hawkeye Kinetic Models version. And she's got the front end of it loaded up with nose weight. 5 pounds, huh? Well, I don't doubt it. If you got to load the front up, you got to load it up. All right. Great job on that. And I think she's got some more here. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is her 200 scale Hornet, Doolittle Raiders. And yeah, so here we go. She says this is a huge kit, and that is definitely for sure. Very nice job on that. Great job on the camo pattern. Got it loaded up with figures. Just a really nice scene here. And so this was kind of a cool thing. She said she got to display it at her American Legion for about a month or so. So there it is. You can see it on display in the window. I guess that's the window. So that's very cool. Very, very nice. This last picture of it here. Yeah, 200 scale 200 scale ships. They really, once you get them built, they're like a centerpiece. Uh, I mean, I guess if you have the space, you could you could collect them and pack them into a display just like 350 or especially 700. But if you're looking for that centerpiece, or in her case, that window piece, you can't go wrong with a 200 scale ship. They're just huge. So, all right. Oh, look, we had one more picture of it. Very nice. All right. And finally, she says she's getting into figure models a little bit. So, like I've said many times, a model is a model. As long as it's interesting to you, why not? So, this is Chief Gall from FER Miniatures, or Fur Miniatures, however you want to say that. And this is pretty neat. Got one more slide of it, 2 more views. So, did a nice job on this one. So great job on that, Lady Knievel. Keep up the figure painting. Always interesting to see. All right, and next we've got Bill Moore from The World of Armor over on Facebook. Join those guys if you're a tank guy. They'd love to have you. This is his 48 scale Jag Panther with factory markings from the employees. And I don't know why, but my slideshow is messing this up too, but you can get the idea. So he's got all these markings on there. That is very cool. Look at them closer here. Always interesting seeing these unique paint ups of some of these machines. Awesome. Great job on that. Sorry this first picture here was messed up. I got to figure out what happened. I set all these things up and I make one big PowerPoint, but this software I'm using won't let me import anything more than 50 megs. And the slideshow I made tonight was like over 200 megs. So I had to split it. So obviously something happened when I was splitting it. It caused weird things to happen. So I apologize. All right, this next one is not a model kit. So I don't mind throwing in non-model kits once or twice every once in a while. I don't want to make that the normal thing, but this was interesting. So John Kaiser has sent me this old image, and maybe some of you guys have seen this. This is an original color picture from Life magazine. And it's just very, 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 very cool and interesting to me. These humongous gears, and it's supposedly possible that these went into the Missouri battleship. So, just an interesting picture. Huge gears. I thought it was worth showing to you guys. You may have seen it before, and if not, there you go. So I appreciate you sharing that, John. All right, moving down the line, James Alsop has sent us this. A little bit different than what we're used to seeing, so I love it. I appreciate you sending this to us. This is, did he say which kit? This is, yes, Academy and Ertl are the two different kits there. And he says the water was made with Woodland Scenics, representing the Battle of Actium. Forgive me. So very cool. So thank you for sharing this. You don't see too many old sailing ships. I get asked from time to time if we sell any wood ships, ship model kits made out of wood, and they still exist. We just don't get asked for them too often anymore, which is a shame because when you build these things up, and I know these two are plastic, but just whether it's plastic or wood, when you build up one of these really nice, like James has done here, they're pretty impressive. I've never built one. The rigging scares me to death, but I don't know. Maybe I should jump in there and join James because he's done a good job. All right, got one more closer view of them here. All right, let me cue up the next slide here. That was the end of slide 2, or file 2. We've got 6 files to go through tonight, so you see why I was rushing through the greetings. I wasn't trying to leave anybody out. We just got a lot of pictures to look at tonight, so I don't want to leave any of those out for sure. All right, next up, this is our buddy Frank from Australia that we were talking about a little earlier. So he's got 3 models that he's sent us this evening. The first being his 35th scale Tacom Tiger, late version. So let's check it out. Very nice. I love the markings down the barrel. Nice and straight, white. Good job on that. Got a view of the inside here. Lots of goodies going on inside that thing. I did a great job. All right, and next up, same guy, Frank. This is 350th scale Academy and Royal Australian Navy, Canberra. So let's check this out. Guided missile frigate. Looking good. Yeah, I like this. Very cool. All right, and last from Frank this evening, this is a 48 scale Airfix kit, a Walrus Mark 1. He says this particular aircraft that he's representing here is in a museum in Melbourne, and he said he got to help restore it back in the 90s. So definitely got to have a model kit of that then. Very nice. You know, it's funny to me, whenever we get a model kit, we all seem to have this wonderful ability to find something wrong with it. And sometimes we're absolutely correct, and sometimes it's, I don't know, call it limitations of the factory, laziness of the factory. I don't know. Maybe they were reusing the same mold to create a different variant, and they didn't change the right, whatever it is. You know, a lot of times we're just guessing and not assuming, but, you know, going by books and things. We know what we're talking about a lot of times. But imagine being the guy like Frank and you got to actually restore the real aircraft. It would be interesting to know that model kit. what was right, what was wrong, because, if you get to restore the thing up close and personal, you probably know what you're talking about when you're building the model and finding the things you have to correct. So that's pretty neat. So you did a great job on that, buddy. I appreciate you sending those over to us, and again, hope you have a great morning as we go into our evening over here on the other side of the world. Moving on down the line, Randy Harvey has sent us a few of his builds this evening, and this is his 35th scale. Can't go wrong with a Tamiya M3 Stewart. So good job on that. I think he's got 5 or 6 different tanks, one picture of each. So we'll go through them here. This is his, again, Tamiya KV2. And switching from Tamiya to oldie but goodie testers. And this is, I don't really see much testers kits, at least not here in the show and tell. They're out there, and you've done good on this one. Moving over to Artillery with your winter wash scheme here on a Martyr 3. Very nice. And here we go with testers again. Well, testers mixed with monogram. He says the trailer is from an old monogram kit. Very cool. And last but not least, from Randy, is back to Tamiya with a Sherman. All right. This is Derek Liker. And, earlier we were talking about 1200 scale ship models and how small they are. Now, 144 scale aircraft can be thrown in that same conversation because they, as you can see here, with his Sabre next to a quarter, they're pretty small. But look at the detail on that plane. I mean, small or not, he knocked it out of the park on this one. Very nice job. Very cool. All right. I was sitting here looking over at some of the chat, trying to not completely ignore you guys. I was going to answer one of these questions here, and just hello to everybody that's coming in. I see a bunch of you. Hey, Mr. Pizza, everyone. Late again. All you guys that are joining us late, that's not a problem. Glad you're here. Good to see you tonight. And Joseph, do we sell Airfix? Yes, we do. We've got Airfix. In fact, the new 24 scale Spitfire just showed up this week. And then their new Sabre is supposed to be here in December sometime. I don't know exactly when, but good stuff. All right. So next, I think that we've shown one picture of this several months ago, but it was just a quick picture. It was before the show and tell really kind of got into the groove, if you will. But Robert has sent us a couple pictures of his Dora, 35th scale Dora. And since apparently I'm never going to finish mine to show you guys, thought we would show you what one looks like finished. And this on the left is not it finished. This is just a great picture of it being in progress. This was his, I guess, working jig that he had to flip this thing upside down and work on it. So you can just imagine the amount of table space it takes to build this thing. So we've got a finished picture of it we'll show you in just a second, but he sent a couple other pictures of some of his models to show off. Got the big rig up there. Very cool. And it's kind of neat sitting up there in that behind or in front of that backdrop. So, and then he's I guess this is his current work in progress there on his workbench. See, with the Dora not sitting there, look how much more space he has to work. I mean, look at that. And now it's gone. Poof. And besides, this is a lot smaller of a kit, but looking forward to seeing that finished too. But here's a part of the Dora that he had to rig, and then poof, there's what we're all waiting to see. 35th scale Dora. Massive kit, and he's got his finished, and I don't. Thank you for sending that to me to show up here tonight, Robert. All right, moving on down the line now. This is Mark Egger's Rommel's Rod as designed by Tom Daniel. Always thought this was a interesting kit. I can't remember who made this kit. Was it AMT maybe? Or MPC, one of those guys? I don't know. I hadn't seen one in a while. It's neat though. All right. Next up, we've got a picture from John Sparty. You might know him as Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog here in the chat room. And this is a Wolfpack Models kit. 48 scale. The scratch built base. All right. Great job on that, buddy. Thank you for sending that in. Kimberly says the door is massive. Yes, indeed. I just can't wait to get mine finished. Wayne says monogram. You must be talking about the Rommel's Rod. That sounds correct. All right, next up we've got Ed Groon. And let's see, he provided his own PowerPoint for me. So let's get that pulled up. Last week, we did discuss 3D models, and before we go any further, I don't know when, but I'm going to do another 3D night because I got a lot of emails from you guys, and you really enjoyed it last week, and I'm glad. I appreciate that. But I was kind of disappointed in myself. I don't feel that I adequately explained 3D printing, and I definitely don't think that I adequately showed it off. So, sometime down the road, when I get my room in here a little bit more situated and ready, we're going to do that again, and it's going to be better. So, I'll go a little bit more in depth with it, and show. I want to show you some of the computer side of it. The software involved. So, but anyway, back to Ed Grun. So last week we discussed 3D models, and here are some of Ed's 3D models. 1/60th scale, which is in scale for you train guys. Response boat. He says this was printed by Shapeways back when they were still around. Yes, Shapeways, if you ever used Shapeways, they had so many different materials that you could choose from. And as you see here in Ed's description, laser-centered nylon was one of their least expensive materials. But, it doesn't really, in my opinion, Ed, in the picture, it doesn't really show that bad. I know what you're talking about, the graininess of them, but from the pictures, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it is a super duper small little guy there, but it looks nice. I like it. And next up, this is 87 scale, which again, for you train guys, is HO scale. Another small boat. And let's see. He says this is an SLA print, which is another way of doing 3D printing. He says this is more acceptable than the previous model as far as quality. And again, picture looks great. Now, Ed, I'm assuming that you did not hand paint U.S. Coast Guard on there. So did you come up with some other kind of decals? Or maybe you did hand paint. I mean, people are good at hand painting. I'm not. I would never be able to do that. But did you use some kind of decals for that where it says U.S. Coast Guard? Or did you, in fact, hand paint it? Let me know, because that's looks nice. All right, and moving on. He says this is another 87 scale, another HO scale, 45-foot boat. Is this not the same one? Well, anyway, he says the wave base was sculpted from 1-inch pink insulation foam. Insulation board is great for modeling. My dad and I used to use that all the time back when we were making the train layout when I was a kid. This was covered with a layer of Aves epoxy sculpt with a cutout for the hull, and he used artist's acrylic paint for the sea surface. Looks good, Ed. And Ed says the decals may be from Alliance Model Works back when they were still around. Okay. All right, Ned says Cursan, is that how we're saying that? Is a fantasy and war game company. And he did this as a commission build. SLA printed, then cleaned up for resin casting. Going back to what we talked about last week, using 3D printing as to print a master and then making resin copies of it. Print artifacts remain, but are less noticeable. So that's the graininess we were talking about, or a lot of people call them build lines or step lines or steps or whatever. But the decals on this one, he says, are Alliance models. Okay. So back when they were around, you had those hand-painted deck skid blocks. Using fine tip markers for your for your windows. Good idea. Oh, it looks good, Ed. This one is 72 scale. All right. Looks great, Ed. Ed's always sending just different stuff. I mean, one week he's sending ship models or submarines, and the next week he's sending me Elvis eating a cheeseburger. If you guys remember that model from a few months ago. All right, and then next up, and I believe this is our last submission for the night. He's got 5 of them, though, so we'll be here a few more minutes. So I guess we made it through that pretty quick. I didn't know how long that was going to take. All right, this next one is from my good buddy named Q. He works with us at Squadron, and this is the cover photo for tonight, the Spitfire you guys were talking about earlier. So this particular one is 48 scale, Seafire, Mark III. He says it is from the 887 Squadron. Made this one out of an Edward kit, but he had to use parts from a special hobby Seafire 3 kit to do his conversion. And, of course, Edward brass and wheels and prop and all that with a P40 resin drop tank. So we'll check out a few pictures of this. Yeah, he actually brought these into the shop this morning, and we took pictures of them this afternoon. So, yeah, if you happen to be around this area after we open the store up in January, we are hoping and planning to have some display space for you guys to bring in a model or two to display in our Squadron shop. And Q was pretty excited that these are amongst the first models that have gone in the display case. Very welcome models, might I add. They look very nice. He fully details out the interiors, but unfortunately, my phone was not cooperating with the flash, so I was not able to get good inside images. But trust me, it looks great in that cockpit. All right, and I got a couple more from Q, but I got to queue up my last file here. All right, so this also from Q. This is a 48 scale Corsair, and if you notice a theme here with some of his planes, he wants to build all of the birds that flew with the FAA, and in this particular case, it's the Corsair. And on this particular plane, he was telling me that he could have used a 3D printed engine, such as Magic Factory, for example, has a very nice one. But instead, he decided to scratch build the entire thing. And and it's all wired up and everything. Again, I was not able to take pictures that do it justice, but trust me, in person, that engine looks fantastic, and it's all scratch built. So he did a fantastic job on that. All right, moving down the line, another model from Q. This is a 48 scale BF109 G10. And if I understood him correctly, this is his latest build that he's finished. He said it's just a quick out of the box build. All right, another plane from Q tonight. This is a G55 Series 1 from Special Hobby, sticking with 48 scale. I was able to get a little bit better of a interior picture on this. I couldn't get the dash, but all his instruments are in there. But, seat looked nice, so got to figure out a better way to take pictures of the inside of those things when you guys bring your models by. All right, and last but not least, from Q, for the evening, and the last model of the evening, is his 35th scale Sherman Dragon kit, metal tracks, mini craft figures. So let's check this out. All right. Yeah, and if you want to get a sneak peek, cheap view of what's going to be our retail store, that's it in the background of that. There's had a couple of you email and call so far wondering if we're open yet. That's why we're not. We're trying to get all the displays and shelves and all that up there, but we hadn't got anything set up yet except a couple of paint racks. And we've got Q's models in one of the display cases. That's probably the best looking part of the store so far. But it's coming along. And so that's it for the show and tell tonight, guys. I appreciate you sending those models. That always looks good. Yeah, Robert, beautiful builds, everyone, he says. Robert says, anybody that wants help with that Dora assembly, he had to come up with creative ways of doing it. So I don't know, Robert, maybe one of these days I'm going to get you to get your webcam out, and you and me are going to get on here and talk about it. You can tell me how to finish it, because obviously I'm not capable of being very quick. Oh man, Mr. Pizza, yes, please get a few submitted for next month. Everybody submit some pictures to me for next month. We'll do it again unless things have to change, but it's always worked out so far to be the first Wednesday of the month. So December 4th will tentatively be the December show and tell, and we'll try to go for it that way. I wanted to show you, before we get off of here, I wanted to show you a couple of things that we've got. I try to always do this, but I didn't know if I was going to have any time tonight with as many pictures. This new Tamiya kit, their Panzer I. This is a very cool, interesting kit, and it's really nice. So if you guys, I don't know how I didn't realize this was coming. All of a sudden it showed up and poof, there they were. So I don't know, maybe you guys are like me and you didn't realize it was coming, but super nice. And they're available now. So make sure to check that out. We were talking about, do I carry Airfix a little while ago? This is the 24 scale Spitfire that I was talking about. These are the newest thing that we've got from them, other than this Cromwell. This is new as well. But yeah, we definitely have Airfix. The big thing that everybody's waiting on from Airfix right now, if you go over to our pre-order section in Airfix, this new F86F, this is the big thing for the end of the year for Airfix for sure. So those are supposed to be here in December. Hopefully they make it. Now, the biggest thing in my opinion at the moment, is ICM's next round of releases. They're headed our way now, and flak bait is on its way. Now, this is not just decals, different decals in their B26B. There are a few differences specific to flak bait over what is otherwise their standard B26B kit. And I am actually, hopefully it'll work out, so I'll go ahead and let you know. Valeria from ICM and I are doing a small video showing this kit off in about a week. And it's not going to be a live show because, as you can imagine, it's 4 o'clock in the morning over there in Ukraine right now. But we'll do a pre-recorded, show off, I guess you will, of flak bait, so you can see the differences in this kit versus their initial B26B release. And it's just really neat. And then they're also doing, I just got word about this week, if you've tried any of the ICM paints yet, they've got a paint set specific for that B26 that is available. And because you guys have asked me about it so much, the other thing that I don't usually stock but a few of them at the time, but I've had so many people ask for this specific book to go along with the flak bait, we decided to open it up for pre-orders. It's not really a pre-order, it's more of a back order or special order, but the way our system works, it's got to say pre-order. So you can order one of these, and we've got a bunch of these coming in time to ship along with flak bait. So get you a flak bait kit, the book, and the paint set all together. That'll be ready to go by the end of this month. And the other thing that I wanted to show you real quick before we go is if you've been buying the Doolittle magazines from us, let's see, like these, the Model Military International, the Military Illustrated Modeler, Model Airplane International, and of course the Tamiya Model magazine. Those are all from Doolittle Publishing. We've also got the Air Modeler and the AFV Modeler magazines each month, but we've added a new publishing company of magazines this month, and that's the Guideline Publications. You may have seen these. This is scale aircraft modeling. They've got Military Modelcraft International, which is their armor-themed book, and they've also got their figure-themed book called Fantasy Figures International. So these 3 magazines from Guideline, they will be part of our monthly modeling magazines that we do. And I don't know exactly how it's going to work yet. We're still working out the details, but starting in 2025, we're going to do some sort of a subscription because we've got so many magazines now, and some of you guys, you want to make sure to get every one of them, and we're going to set up some sort of a subscription type of deal to where when they come in, we automatically just ship them right out to you. So I've got details on that coming sometime soon. But I've had a lot of people asking for that, and it's just one of those things, like I keep saying, we hadn't got there yet, but we're working on it, and we'll be rolling that out soon. So that's about all I've got for tonight, guys. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoy looking at the model kits that you send me to put in these shows. I really appreciate it. I just hope that you guys get a lot more time to build models than I do, because I hadn't had much at all lately. But maybe that'll change soon, and I'll surprise you. I'm at least hoping so. Guys, y'all take it easy. As always, call me, email me. Monday through Friday, 10 to 3 is my phone hours and my email hours. Be happy to help you find whatever you need. And make sure to join me next Wednesday night as I have Chris Decker on here, and we talk about the good old days of resin ship model casting. So y'all have a good evening. Thanks again.